All right, guys, welcome to the channel. So the main topic of this video today is going to be talking about kind of like the gold standards, the Mark IIs, the reworks, things like that. But before we started, I just wanted to mention that Luminalia has gone live for the 2955 event, and there'll be things where you can buy ships. So all you're going to do is go to the home page, and so when you go to the home page, you'll see a little tab that says Luminalia. You're just going to click Light the Lamps, and it will take you to this page right here, and this is where you find everything. Now, this is an event where they give you free gifts and stuff like that, so that's the main thing I wanted to show you guys. If you're new, you don't know about this, all you do is you come in here, there's 13 days, you can see day 1 as I'm making this video is already there, so all you're going to do is click on that, and it becomes account bound. So these are things that you get to keep, you never lose, and it's pretty cool. They don't do a lot of, free stuff, giveaway things like that, like this. So, take advantage of it while you can. It's a pretty cool gift for the end of the year from, CIG, Robert Space Industries. So, real fast, before we dive into the main topic, I do want to go ahead and play the recap of what they talked about reworks and gold standards, the video for lots of ship talks. So, I want to jump in here and just kind of replay what they talked about. But the very first question I have right before we play this, before you even hear what this is about, I want to know, do you think the Reclaimer is going to get a rework, more of a gold pass, or do you think it's going to get a Mark II? Or do you think they're just going to do nothing with it, pass it off to the side, and give us like a new ship to replace it? So in the comments, I don't need you to leave a big comment. All I would like you to do is put either gold pass, rework, new ship, or Mark II. If you could just do that in the comments, I kind of want to tally it up, see what everybody thinks is going to become of the Reclaimer, because it got a little bit of work, but it just doesn't look like they're going to do much with that ship, or really even Salvage in general over the next year or so. We're going to have to wait and see, but that's just kind of the way it's starting to feel right now. So let's go ahead and play this.
The ships. So there's the gold standard, which you just explained.
Yep.
And then there's an outright rework. You've got. I think it's Polaris owners are now somewhat envious of the Perseus interior.
Yeah.
Star Runner owners are looking at the Clippers' second entrance and being like, "Where's my second entrance?" The 600i.
Yeah.
Just do that there. Sometimes we do a gold standard. Sometimes we shoot for a rework, and sometimes we do a Mark II, as we did with the Hornet. So talk to me about how the choice between a rework and a Mark II comes about.
So with the reworks versus Mark II, it depends on what we're trying to achieve and whether what already exists actually achieves that. So using the 600i as a prime example, just as a talking point for one, when we made the original 600i, we had a particular vision for how we wanted the interior to be used and laid out, and then as the game evolved, we realized that the interior just doesn't work for what we actually want the ship to be able to do, what we want to achieve, what we want the experience to be while using it. And realistically, if that ship was left in the state that it was, it wouldn't actually fit its role or purpose within the game. So what we want to do is rework something like that. It needs to be taken back and then re-reviewed, and obviously everyone's seen the rework images, the concept board. There's an entire thread on Spectrum where people are keeping track of everything for it that we've ever said and covered. That's the rework. That's when what's there doesn't work. It doesn't need tweaked, it doesn't need things adding, it doesn't need minor changes. It's straight up, it just needs removing and putting back in. The gold standard can sometimes be just bringing something up to scratch. So that's adding, say, the suit locker's missing, or the weapon rack doesn't work, or other features that help the gameplay experience but don't require us to fundamentally change something about the ship. And then the Mark IIs exist, where the Mark I, the original, still works for the role, but we want to make it bigger and better, but we don't want to get rid of what the original role was being fulfilled. So if we talk about the Aurora,
Too late now.
if we talk about the Aurora, so the Aurora interior, oh man, I'm getting in trouble after this.
Go ahead, Mark. Let's do it.
Okay, so the Aurora is obviously getting the gold It's not obviously, but people are now hearing the Aurora's getting the gold standard.
If you've been reading the monthly reports.
Is it in the monthly?
Yep.
Oh God, I missed that. Okay, so the Aurora is getting the gold standard. So what that is, the interior still mostly works, but there's some tweaks needed to make it work with our gameplay loops. But we don't need to.
All right, guys, so that's kind of the basis. I'm not going to keep going with this, but I wanted you to go ahead and get just a recap of this in case you haven't seen this or you didn't watch the IC. That's just a couple minutes of it broken down. So let's jump into the game real fast. Let's pull out the Reclaimer, just take a look at it and see what we think. And here she comes, guys, in all her glory. The Reclaimer. You know, guys, I just now thinking about it while it's coming up, I actually haven't even named this ship. I need to think about that. Thinking about doing something like Ad Astra or maybe Big Booty Judy, or I don't know. I'm going to think of some names here, but save that for another time. So guys, like I was talking about the Gold Pass rework, I'm going to go ahead and give you my 2 cents on what I think may happen. I think that the Reclaimer is probably more or less going to be left alone. I think it needs a full rework. I think the outside is probably fine now that it docks and everything. But especially in this whole section right here, this whole section needs a rework. Like, they could do something really cool with the rework where the bottom could open up and this whole area right here could drop down like an elevator. I mean, we have the room for it. So just kill this little back thing and make this drop down, or widen this and make this back part back here where I'm scrolling the mouse, make this like somehow open up. It doesn't need to be a ramp or anything like that, but this whole back could open up. Now, I talked about these exact changes in another video, but I wanted to bring it after they talked about the reworks and stuff, you know, kind of looking at the ship in that view. That's why I think that instead of them doing that, we may get some tweaks to it. But remember, this ship has like the drone bay, which I don't think we're going to get. It doesn't have the refinery yet. I don't see how they would actually build the refinery into it with the room that we have. The areas that they could put like in a refinery area is probably too small. There's no real room to put it in the process area, and keep like the same type of cargo grid that we already have. So thoughts on that? What do you think about them not doing a rework, or let's move to a Mark II? The Mark II is the furthest away option I think they're going to go with. I don't see them redoing this ship. It's a big ship. It's a capital ship. What I think they will end up doing is probably bringing another larger, maybe capital size ship, salvage ship, maybe from a different manufacturer, maybe from like Misk or Argo or something like that. I could see them doing that and just having that as a general replacement. I know people talk about it all the time. They talk about why would they want to redo the ship or anything like that when they can just sell you, you know, a replacement, kind of like they're doing with the Aurora. They did an update to it, but they're going to do the Mark II. So why would they want to just do one ship when they can sell you the solution with another ship? I feel like they've been getting bad about that. Now they're doing it with the Aurora. I feel like they may even do it with like the 600i, even though they just talked about doing a rework. What's to stop them from like doing some sort of Mark II on the 600i and calling it something else like the 650i or, you know, something like that? But that's my 2 cents on what I think is going to happen with the Reclaimer. Salvage, for an update, I just did a video on that. I will post the link to that video if you're kind of curious of where it's at. Even as of this, where you can see we're in the PTU, Salvage is just kind of dead, guys. It's, you know, the refinery outputs are still flipped. You know, we're supposed to be getting 85% with the Reclaimer, with, you know, with the stipulation that it's going to take a whole lot longer to refine. So it takes a lot longer to refine. We're supposed to get 85%. You know, we do 100 boxes, we should get 85 of them. But right now it's flipped. We're only getting 15 boxes out of 100 boxes. So it doesn't pay out. It's not good for multi-crew. It's not good for making any type of AUEC. And yeah, while maybe this salvage game loop itself is fine, scraping is fine, doing the motions with the whole munching or whatever is fine. But overall, if you're somebody who wants to play your favorite loop and they want to make some AUEC to, you know, do upgrades or buy new armor or, you know, materials or just get new ships and things like that, Salvage is just way behind. Now, I don't think that Salvage needs to be meta. I don't think it needs to be the best. I don't think it needs to be anything like that, but they do need to bring it more in line with the other loops. And I think them bringing Salvage up is probably going to be more in line with what's going on right now in game versus trying to bring all the other loops down to it, because that would be quite a bit more work. And the other loops are quite a bit more balanced than Salvage is right now. So what are your thoughts, I guess, on the Salvage update itself? Now, guys, that is really going to do it for the video. I just really wanted to do this video just for a quick little bit of information of what could be happening maybe in the future with the Reclaimer. This is nothing that's going to be happening soon, but I thought it'd be cool to have maybe, you know, some conversations in the comments about it and just kind of see where you as the community and as Reclaimer owners yourself, if you have one, where you actually stand on this ship. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All the comments on the past videos have been great. Been really looking forward to communicating with you guys more and more. And I'm going to keep trying to get some of these Salvage videos out as we get new patches and stuff. I'm still waiting for that update. I've made posts on Spectrum and I've commented and I've reached out and I'm trying to see where we kind of stand on it. But, you know, I just can't get any real response for where we might stand on the issue council report on getting the numbers flipped back. So as of today, that's actually where we stand. I've had no new news on that front. Thanks for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video.